Georgia witness kind of mentioned this, but he said something to the effect of how this will be used as an argument for the right in the abortion debate. And I just want to say that I thought about that same thing too. That it's you'll have some people saying, well, how are you as an atheist arguing for the life of a child, being either killed or dying before it was brought to term. And I just want to take the time, even though I shouldn't have to, but I want to explain that there's a certain point at which the child is actually a child. And when you're overdue and the kids, it's just waiting on the push out. That's different.
Yeah. Completely different. She was 42 weeks. To give the viewers an understanding, she had a 2-week-old baby in her uterus. That's a viable infant. It has the lungs. It can breathe on its own. That's not a fetus with a heartbeat. This is a baby that, for all intents and purposes, had it gotten out, would be alive today. That is way different. And listen, I am as pro-choice as they come, but this is not about pro-choice. This was a baby.
Right. And there's a cutoff point. I mean, I'm not a fan of late term abortion, not to, go any further down that road, but I think there is a certain point to where if you decide that you are going to bring this child into term and you're that far along, then it is your responsibility to make sure that you do everything that you can to get that child here as safe as possible. And if you're enough to make that decision, follow through with it.
Right. And there's 0 states in this country where you could ever get an abortion at 42 weeks. 0.
Right.
0.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think you can, in some rare, there are some states that have the 3rd trimester abortions, but a lot of them won't go past 35 weeks, which is still crazy because a 35-week infant can live on their own. My son is a 35-week-old baby,
I actually have friends who have kids that are earlier than that. They have preemies that were earlier than 35 weeks.
My son was in the NICU for 7 weeks, and our neighbor right across the hall was a 23-week preemie, and she is 6 years old today, and she is fine, and she is the cutest thing. This isn't this to me, but the funny thing is that this group is pro-choice, so they're not even the type.
Oh, this group is infuriating to say the least, but go ahead.
Well, I'm just thinking about how they took the time out to make a comment about how I'm an awful person for writing about this. No, you guys are awful for doing this. You are awful for putting women at risk. You are awful for putting babies at risk. And I've heard from other people in the community that, there was a death of a mother not too long ago in the same group. So it's not like this is just a one-off. If you are promoting and pushing women into these reckless births, there's going to be death.
Right. And the thing is, you're not an awful person for writing about it. They think that you're awful because they are being exposed for what I don't even know the right word, a horrible, deplorable group. I mean, if you are going to be a group that claims to have women's health and well-being at firsthand, then making sure that they seek the proper medical condition is I'm saying it's baffling that they are promoting such a harmful practice towards women that they claim to be backing up. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah. I mean, they say that they're pro-choice, right? And they say that so after all of this happened, I think I said Emily Saldea or whatever her last name is, she made a video, right? And so one of my readers did this Dropbox video for me so I could watch what she was saying. And she was essentially saying that, like, we're not anti-medicine, we're not this, we're pro-choice, we're pro this, we're pro that. But then if you go through all of their rules, they're not. You can't talk about medicals. They don't allow birth workers. You can't tell a mom to go seek medical assistance. You can't talk about ultrasounds. You can't talk about testing. You can't talk about, going to the doctor. They don't allow any of that. And so when they strip out all of that, can you really have a balanced conversation about birth? No, because for some of these women, it's not going to work to have a reckless wild birth. They're going to have to go to the hospital. And then what do? You don't tell them not to go. You go. I mean, it's stupid. And then this woman for trusting this group. I mean, what a moron. This is the complete like antithesis of how these groups damage and destroy. Like, it might be a virtual online world that they live in, but this went real life, and a baby is dead.
Mm-hmm. And needlessly, I think that's the takeaway here is that this was an event that could have been avoided easily, like super easily. And it would have been a lot more comfortable for her in the process. Like, to put yourself through that kind of, it just doesn't make any sense.
Like, for me, for instance, like I said, like, I had an infection too, and my water broke too. And like, so maybe had she been in the hospital with that infection, the baby might have been born a little bit sick, but like, a hospital can manage that, right? Like, they've got oxygen, they can suction out the lungs, like, they can do all of those things to like help the baby recover. And with birth like that, where it's like a long process, the babies do have trauma from how long they spend in the birthing canal. And a hospital can help with all of that. I mean, she was setting herself up for failure from the beginning by, 4 days, 5 days of labor. I mean, what she said, the first was the day she went into labor and she had the baby on the 7th. That's insane.
Mm-hmm. There's a question that came in. I think this is relevant. They just said that, what do you think is the solution for this? Is education alone not cutting it?
I think like, and a lot of people have come at me about this, like, you're just against home birth. Listen, I am not against home birth. I am against mothers having all of the information. And if you're in a group
so what if you are?
that is...
So what if you are, though?
Well, I'm against unassisted birth 100%. I am against mothers not getting prenatal care. That is ridiculous. Like, and yes, home birth is dangerous. So if you're going into it with home birth and you are pissed off that you got a bad outcome, guess what? The statistics aren't in your favor. Like, that's a product of home birth. And there's a reason why we don't.
Yeah, I'm okay with saying I'm anti-home. I'm okay.
You're okay with it? Well, like,
don't do home births. Like, don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't. I didn't. There's no way. I know people that have had home births that have been successful. That's why I'm saying, like, would I do it? No. Do I think it's irresponsible? 100%. But I think if you're going to do a home birth, you better have a backup plan. You better have a plan of, like, who you're going to call, how you're going to transport, like, how far away is the hospital? Meet the doctors that might be able to help you. I mean, you could at least be more organized. I mean, this woman had no plans.
Like I said, I'm okay with saying that I'm with being anti-home birth. I think that if you're going to have a child, you need to have it in a medically safe environment as possible. However, if you are going to insist that you have a home birth, have somebody there that knows what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
Not your boyfriend
right.
who doesn't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Have somebody there that can make a decision that if something goes wrong or if there's a discoloration in the discharge, they know what it is. Like, you're not guessing. You're not asking. You're not asking Facebook with people who post pictures of food and what they're watching and Netflix and chill. You're asking those people what this medical condition is. And it's just It's stupid.
It's so stupid. Like, it's so stupid. There are amazing midwives that have gone through hundreds of births. And, I have talked since I've written this to numerous midwives, right? And all of them have said that a trained midwife would know that that baby was in for way too long. The discharge was not right. And they would have sent her to the hospital. Like a midwife would have been like, you gotta go. But she didn't have anybody telling her that.
She had her boyfriend.
Yeah, who's clearly an idiot. Like, whatever. You can play with your stupid rock band and like live off the grid.
So crazy. Well,
I know.
This got
me so heated.
It got the live chat heated too, but they said that they've loved this informative conversation. Thank you, NonSequitur and Without a Crystal Ball, for a great conversation. This needed to be discussed.
I know it's a little bit different than what you guys are used to, but there's so much bad science out there, and there's so many people making stupid. Yeah. Someone said they liked me.
Of course they do. Katie will be. Me and Katie will be here every Sunday at 8 p.m. And I'm just going to let Katie give you a preview of some of the things that we're going to talk about. And by doing that, just name off a couple of your craziest articles that you've written. I know there's one involving blood that was very controversial.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't even get that. I was so proud of this story. Okay, so I was so proud of this story because it was so hard to write, and I was like so like pumped. I thought everyone was gonna read it, and it kind of like thudded out. Like it might have been just too gross, but I don't care. It's okay. So this woman in the Netherlands, she decided that she was gonna make blood sausage with her own blood.
Oh God!
And she did it. She did it.
Actual
she did
fuck.
it. Yes. Yes. So she like gets this like wild hair up her butt, and she's like, I don't want to hurt a pig for their blood, but I'll eat their meat, but I don't want their blood. I don't even try. I don't understand her logic. So she goes online and she's like, I'm going to buy some needles and some blood bags. Okay, so the logical thing is if you're going to take your blood, you probably only need like 1 or 2 needles. And this is the part that like gets me out of all of this. She bought 600 needles.
Oh my God, I can't. My skin's crawling right now. Oh God.
I don't know. And
how
then
much?
She got,
I'm sorry, I'm choked up. I'm choked up. How much?
And then she got donated blood, right? She got donated blood bags, right? Like donated blood bags. Somebody who like legit could have used those blood bags, like a blood bank, or like somebody that has to have blood, at home, like lots of medical reasons, right? Somebody legitimately could have used that. She got them donated to her to take her own blood so she could eat it. It's
why? I don't fuck people. That's all I'm gonna say. Like I'm.
Yeah. I'm with
so
you.
she made it, right? She made it, and she like invited a friend over, and they ate it.
Cannibalism, people. It's a thing.
It's Hannibal Lecterette.
Yeah.
Hannibal Lecterette.
Oh,
that's what it is.
So gross. And there's like pictures of her with like fingers in her blood, and she's like, "Oh, and it looked like a slaughterhouse when it was." Oh my
Uncle
God!
Ned, I'm not Steve, Uncle Ned. I'm David. Steve's not here, man.
It was so gross.
So okay, so let's clear off. I don't want to end on a bloody note, so let's talk about. Give them a hint of. I think next week what we'll do is a little bit out the people ask about a lot, and that would be Jilly. So maybe we'll touch base on Jilly a little bit, and then talk about Turpentine guy.
Oh, okay. So so there's this guy. His name is Danny Glass, Sunfruit Dan. He's on YouTube. You guys can check him out. He's a loon. He is crazy. He like
don't. Don't.
Did you watch some of the videos? He eats borax.
Yes. Unfortunately,
he drinks his own urine. He, like every single woo thing you can do, like he does them all. Like,
oh man.
But he also drinks turpentine.